Good morning, students. In the last class, we discussed about some typical questions based on ionization potential. Now let us discuss other model questions how they are asking in the national examination based on ionization potential. So note down the question. Calculate the energy required for ionization of all the atoms of magnesium. Okay, ionization means conversion of magnesium into its ion form. Atoms of magnesium to Mg+2 ions. Okay, magnesium to magnesium+2 means here we need to remove 2 electrons from the magnesium atoms to convert magnesium atom into magnesium ions. Present in 48 milligrams of magnesium vapor. Okay, they are asking us to calculate the energy required for conversion of all the atoms present in 48 milligrams of magnesium into Mg+2 ion. Along with this, the other data they given is the first ionization energy is 540 kilojoules per mole. Okay, the first ionization energy value is given as 540 kilojoules per mole, and the second ionization energy value is 1450 kilojoules per mole. It is 740 and it is 1450 kilojoules per mole. Okay, so once read the question carefully. So this is different model question based on means when compared to the whatever the questions we discussed in yesterday's class, compared to that this question is somewhat slightly different model question. So let's look at this one. They are asking total energy required to convert magnesium into magnesium+2. Okay, so we need to remove 2 electrons from magnesium. They given in the question to remove 1 electron from the magnesium atom, it requires 740 kilojoules. Okay, that 740 kilojoules of energy is required for removal of 1 electron. So when we remove 1 electron, it will become Mg+1. So this is corresponding first ionization energy. The second ionization energy means what? From the magnesium+1, if you remove 1 more electron, so that corresponding energy will be second ionization energy, right? So this is these two data they given, first and second ionization energy values they given. But what they are asking us to calculate, they are asking us to calculate the energy required for this conversion. Understood? Okay. Let's look at this one. They are asking us to calculate the energy required for Mg to Mg+2. Okay. How we got this equation? Simply by adding the above equations. So for converting Mg to Mg+2, the energy required is how much? Add those two values. They given 740 as the first ionization and 1450 as the second value. So if we add these two values, so we will get 2190 kilojoules per mole. Okay? So can we choose this option as the correct answer? No. Okay? Why it is wrong answer? Because this is the amount of energy required per how many grams? So it is per 1 mole. Okay? So I think every one of us can have idea about what is meant by mole. Okay? So 1 mole is nothing but the atomic weight of that element. Okay? So 1 mole magnesium means how many grams? Atomic weight, its atomic weight. Atomic weight of magnesium is 28 grams. Sorry, 24 grams. Okay? So 1 mole of magnesium is 24 grams. In the question, what they given? How many grams they given? 48 milligrams they given. Observe the question carefully. So here only generally use it to do the mistakes. Simply you may take 48, but read the question carefully. How much value they given? They given 48 milligrams. So we should convert that milligrams into grams. So it is 48 into 10 to the power minus 3 will be, let it be x moles. Okay. So when we do cross multiplication, so we will get the value of x is how much? So it will be 1 into 48 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by 24. So 24 cancelling 48 two times. So finally we got the value as 2 into 10 to the power minus 3 moles. Okay. So whatever the mass they given, so 48 milligrams they was given. So I converted that mass into moles. So why we are converting that mass into moles? Because we calculated the total energy required in terms of moles. So that is why the given mass also we converted into moles. Alright? Understood how we converted into moles? 1 mole of magnesium means its atomic weight. Atomic weight of magnesium we need is 24 grams. So 48 milligrams means how many moles? So by doing cross multiplication we came to know 48 milligrams means these many moles. Okay. Now our task is what? For 1 mole this much energy. But for 2 into 10 to the power minus 3 moles, how much energy? Right? Okay? Now, so for 1 mole conversion, we got the values 2190 kilojoules per mole. Okay, so per mole means for 1 mole magnesium to magnesium plus 2 ions, this much energy is required. But our question is what? 2 into 10 to the power minus 3 mole requires how much amount of energy? Okay, so I considered it as x. So again do cross multiplication. So x will be what then? 2190 into 2 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay. So 10 to the power minus 3 if you apply it will be 2.19. So after multiplying with 2, so it will be 4.38 kilojoules per mole. Okay. Right? In the starting also I told you, so these model questions in the recent NEET examinations they are not asking, because to solve this question definitely it takes more than 1 minute. Right? After practice you may do fastly, But sometimes there is a possibility to ask these level questions also. Okay, it is not a tough question. Simply instead of giving the moles directly, they given in milligrams. So we converted milligrams into moles. First and second ionization energy values anyway they given in the question itself in terms of kilojoules per mole. Okay. So final our answer also is in terms of kilojoules per mole. Right? No doubt. Now coming to the next question. This was a previously asked JEE question. It is not a numerical theory question only. Now let's look at the question. The sum of the first ionization energy and the second ionization energy also sum of third ionization energy and the sum of third ionization energy and the fourth ionization energy values are given below. Okay, the sum of the first and second as well as third and fourth ionization values, the values they given will in the tabular form for nickel and platinum. Okay, so both for the nickel and platinum, the sum of those first, second as well as third, fourth values are given. So once let us observe the values. This is sum of third as well as fourth ionization values. For nickel, its value is given as 2.5 into 10 to the power 3 kilojoules per mole, and for platinum it was given as 2.8 into 10 to the power 3. Now coming to the nickel, the sum of this third and fourth ionization potential value given as 8.5 into 10 to the power 3 and 6.8 into 10 to the power 3. Okay. So this is the list of the values they given. Now coming to the question, what they asked is, now the question is, predict the stable oxidation state. Predict the stable oxidation state of nickel and platinum. Because both nickel and platinum both belongs to same group. They are d block elements. As we know that information. Now, using the ionization energy values, now the question is asking to find the stable oxidation state of nickel as well as platinum. Okay. Why I am explaining this question is, in the yesterday's class we discussed 2 or 3 numericals or problems related to finding the number of valency electrons. Okay. So when the ionization energy is higher, when the ionization energy is lower, we discussed. Okay. So based on that knowledge, we can answer this type of questions also, right? If you observe there, so all these both nickel, platinum are having 4 valence electrons or even more than 4 valence electrons are present, right? In the nickel, if you observe, there will be 10 because it is 4s to 3d8. Okay, but it can exhibit +2 state as well as +4 state. But their question is which it will exist. Okay, in which it will be formed stable compounds, right? So listen carefully how to predict this one. It is only by observing the values, no calculations, no formulas, nothing. Okay, use your knowledge regarding ionization energy by observing the values. Okay, the first and the second ionization energy values, sum of these two is this much, right? Means to remove 2 electrons, this is the energy required. Okay, to remove the next third and fourth electrons, this is the energy required. Okay, now forget about the question what they asked. Listen my question. By observing these two values, okay, my question is, in which case it is easy to remove the electrons? Nickel or platinum? Right? Got my point or not? So this is regarding removal of 2 electrons. Now my question is, out of the 2 elements, in which case it will be easy to remove the first 2 electrons? It is very clear by looking at the value, the energy required to remove the 2 electrons is lower in the case of nickel. Okay, because it is 2.5, here it is a 2.8. Means in the case of nickel, to remove the 2 electrons, it is very easy. Nothing but the nickel is able to release those 2 electrons fastly. So means nickel forms compounds in +2 oxidation state. So the compounds formed by nickel in +2 state are stable. Okay. Then what about platinum? So in platinum also we lose the 2 electrons, but compared to nickel, it requires more energy to lose those 2. Okay. Now coming to the losing of next 2 electrons. Okay. After losing the 2, if they want to lose 2 more, nothing but this is related to losing overall 4 electrons. Okay. So to remove those 4 electrons from nickel, it requires 8.5 into 10 to the power 3 kilojoules per mole. In case of platinum, it requires less energy compared to nickel, right? Forget about the value, how much they given. We need to compare those values. In the case of platinum, it is requiring less amount of energy compared to nickel to lose the 4th electron. Means platinum is having more tendency to lose those 4 electrons. Mean platinum will be more stable in +4 state. Okay. So this is a very rare way of questioning, but this was a previously asked question in the JEE exam. Okay. It is not a tough question, right? But once first time by looking at the question, we feel that it will be slightly confusing concept. Okay? But once keenly if you observe the values, the first 2 values are regarding the losing of 2 electrons. To lose the 2 electrons, nickel requires less amount of energy. It means nickel has more willing to lose those 2 electrons. Means it is more stable in +2 state. Okay? By applying the same concept, in the case of platinum, it requires less amount of energy compared to nickel for losing these 3rd and 4th electrons. Means platinum is ready to lose those 4 electrons. So that is its compounds are more stable in +4 state. Okay? Note on this. Now coming to the next question. Which of the following has highest first ionization potential value? Okay. So these way of questions are very common. Okay. So coming to the four options. The first option is sodium, aluminium, oxygen, sulfur. What will be your answer? Okay, so they are asking to find the element with the highest ionization potential value, the first ionization potential value. Regarding these type of questions we discussed already how the ionization potential varies in groups and periods. So here sodium, aluminium, sulfur, all these three elements belongs to third period. Okay, if you observe the electronic configurations, it is 3s1. This is 3s2, 3p1. Coming to the sulfur, 3s2, 3p6. Okay, but coming to the oxygen, here oxygen belongs to second period element. Okay, so when we are moving down the group, okay, we discussed already from top to bottom in the group, ionization potential values decreases, right? So second period elements will have more ionization potential values than third period elements, right? Because top to bottom IP values decreases. Oxygen is above all these elements, so it will have high ionization potential value. Okay? Understood? In the same period, elements if they give, we know left to right IP values decreases, so we can answer. Now coming to the next question. Right? Now coming to our last question regarding ionization potential. Now the question is, which of the following has highest second ionization potential value? Okay? So to know the second ionization potential, first we have to write the electronic configurations of all these elements. Okay. So coming to sodium electronic configuration what? Atomic number 11. So it is, this is electronic configuration of sodium. Okay. Now coming to aluminium, it is neon 3s2. 3p1. Now coming to the phosphorus, atomic number 15. So it is 3s2, 3p3. This is for phosphorus. Now coming to the fourth option, they given it as sulfur. Now coming to the sulfur, atomic number 16, its electronic configuration 3s2, 3p4. Right? Even to get more clarity, better, let us represent the electrons present in this. 3p1 like this. 3p3 this one. 3p4 is this, right? Okay, 4 electrons, how we will write? 3 and the fourth one we are going to write there. Okay. Now, if they ask the first ionization potential value, okay, all these belongs to same period, same third period elements only. So all those having the electrons in the 3p orbital. So left to right IP values increases. So we can choose based on that. But they are not asking about first ionization potential, but they are asking about what? Second ionization potential. Second ionization potential means what? After removing the last electron. Okay. So if you remove the last electron, so after losing this electron, right? So in this case, after losing the electron in the 3p orbital, now this is the one. Okay. Now what will be your answer out of these? In which case it will be difficult to remove the electron. In all these cases, aluminium, phosphorus and sulfur, if you observe, in these three cases, you are going to remove that second electron still from the third orbit only, right? But coming to the sodium, if you observe there, here we are going to remove that second electron from the inner shell. Okay? Understood or not? Here neon means what? So 1s2, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. So after losing the first electron, the second electron we are removing from the inner shell. Okay? So when compared to the energy required to remove electron from the third orbit, definitely it requires more energy when to remove the electron from the second orbit, right? So that is why here this is our answer. Understood? So which of the following has the highest second ionization potential? Means after losing one electron. So that is why in the case of sodium we need to remove the second electron from inner shell. As in the yesterday's class also we discussed. To remove the electron from second or inner shells, it requires very high amount of energy because we are going to disturb its octet configuration, stable configuration, right? Understood, Amma? The remaining mostly easy way questions, these theory way questions only they are asking. So different model questions you can solve from the material. Okay? So till now we discussed about the periodic property, that is ionization energy or ionization potential. Now coming to the next periodic property, that is electron gain enthalpy, or it is also known as electron affinity. Okay, this is our new periodic property, but it is quite opposite to the ionization potential concept. Okay, from the name we can understand this is enthalpy or nothing but energy, right? So the energy released during the addition, the gaining of electron. Okay, because for anything, just anything, if when we add, definitely some amount of energy will be releases. When the electron is added fastly, means if the atom is attracting the electron strongly, it will be attached as fast, so it releases more energy, right? When this atom is not able to attract the electron fastly, then the electron will be added slowly, so less amount of energy will be releases. Okay, but anyway, remember the point that whenever the electron is added to the atom, so definitely some amount of energy will be releases. Okay, First note down the definition for electron gain enthalpy or electron affinity. Note down the definition. It is the amount of energy in the case of ionization potential, it is the amount of energy required to remove. Okay? To remove the electron, energy is required, but when electron is added, energy is released. Okay? So the amount of energy released when an electron is added to the valency shell of it is the amount of energy released when an electron is added to the valency shell of isolated gaseous atom. Okay, so it is the amount of energy released when an electron is added to the atom simply. Okay, but these are measured when the atom is isolated gaseous state. Okay, and while we are adding the electron will be added mainly first to the valency shell. Valence shell means the outermost orbit, right? While removing the electron also, the first we have to remove electron from the valency shell. In the same way, while adding the electron should be added to the valency shell only. Okay, because all the inner shells anyway will be completely filled to their capacity. So definitely we should add the electron to the valency shell only, right? Now this is also energy only. So if you observe the units of electron gain enthalpy, it will be also same like electron volts per atom, or it can be expressed in terms of kilojoules per mole or per atom, kilocalories per mole, okay, or calories per mole, or joules per mole, or joules per atom. In any way we can express, because it is also energy only, right? What is the definition? Now, the same thing whatever we discussed in the definition point of view, let us write in the equation form. For example, an element X is there. So when we add an electron, we know the element gets a negative charge. So X charge will become -1. When electron is added, so definitely some amount of energy will be released. So that energy is known as electron gain enthalpy or electron affinity. Okay. So regarding these values of electron gain enthalpy, so we need to remember one important point, that is whether this is always exothermic or endothermic. Okay, exothermic means energy will be releases. When energy is released, we should represent it with a negative sign. When energy is gained, then it should be represented with a positive sign. Okay. Remember one point. For example, if I write as EA1, means the first electron gain enthalpy, or first electron affinity. Okay. The second means what? It is the amount of energy released when the electron is added to uni-negative ion, right? In the case, now everything in the definitions, everything is not needed to write. because for the regular or competitive exam point of view, these will be useless. Or regarding this to understand, anyway in the ionization potential concept clearly we written every definition. Okay. So in the case of second ionization potential means what? The energy required to remove the electron from uni-positive ion. Here the energy released during addition of an electron to the uni-negative ion. So it will become -2 charge. So the corresponding energy released or gained will be represented as EA2. EA2 nothing but the second electron affinity. Okay. So our immediate question is, as like ionization potential, our question is, which is higher, which is lower? Okay. So before discussing about whether which is higher, which is lower, so first let us discuss about second ionization potential value. Remember, I mentioned in the notes, always EA2 is endothermic process. Okay, always the second electron affinity for any element is endothermic process. Endothermic process nothing but, in thermodynamics we will come to know, there are second electron affinity values. Endothermic means the value should be represented as positive values. Okay, no doubt at all, always it is endothermic process. Endothermic means what? Energy is gained. Okay, so regarding second electron affinity, the positive value represent the energy is gained. So the process in which the heat energy is gained is known as endothermic process. Okay, so the process in which heat energy is released is known as exothermic process. So second electron affinity is always endothermic process, means all the time whenever the second electron is added to the uni-negative ion, energy will be gained. Okay, instead of releasing the energy, here energy will be gained. Why it is gained, everything we will discuss. But first of all, in the notes, note down clearly, second electron affinity values are always endothermic, nothing but always those values are positive. Right? Now let us discuss the reason why it is positive. Here, in the case of first ionization energy, we are adding electron to a neutral atom. Because atom is always neutral in charge. Right? So there is no charge to attract, or there is no charge to oppose this incoming electron. Okay. But coming to the second case, if you observe there, the charge of the electron, as everyone knows, it is a negative charge, and the charge of this uni-negative ion is also negative. Right? So when the electron is coming closer to this your negative ion, what happens? Due to repulsions, because we know same charges repel each other. So due to repulsions, the electron cannot be added to the valency shell of this ion. Okay. So when it is not able to added, when there are repulsions between them, here we should supply some amount of energy to overcome the repulsions. Right? So when more energy is supplied to overcome the repulsions, then the electron will be added to the negative ion. Understood? So that is why we are supplying energy means, or it is absorbing the energy from the surroundings. You don't think always we will supply. Okay, so from the surroundings, those species will be gains energy. They are gaining the energy means the process is called endothermic process. Okay. So why they are gaining? What is the reason? Did you understand or not? Because this is also a NCERT question. You will get in second year. Okay, in 16th group elements lesson, means in the oxygen family when we are discussing, in that lesson we will get one question given in the NCERT. Why the second ionization energy of electron affinity value of oxygen is positive? Okay, even though oxygen is ready to take the two electrons, still the second electron affinity value is positive. Why? Okay, so what will be our answer? Because in the case of second electron affinity, the electron is added to the negatively charged ion. So to overcome the repulsions between them, the energy should be supplied. Okay, so because of that, the process is endothermic process. Okay, so note down that point in the notes. So note down that point in the notes as EA2 is positive because energy is gained. Energy is gained to overcome the repulsions between the electron and the negatively charged ion. Okay? Second electron affinity value is always positive because the energy is gained to overcome the repulsions between electron and the negatively charged ion. Okay? So that is why in the case of oxygen, if you observe, to the oxygen when we add electron, it will become O minus. So in this case, the first electron affinity value is a negative value. But when the electron is added to this negatively charged oxide ion, so oxygen, then we will get oxygen minus 2. The corresponding energy is represented as second electron affinity. This value is positive. Okay? Why means this is the reason. Okay? Note down. Now, okay, electron affinity value, second one is positive, we mentioned particularly means even third, fourth, except that first one, the next addition of electrons will be difficult because the reason is same only or not. To the O minus, to for example, if you want to add one more, again the negatively charged one, whenever you want to add the electron, what happens? Repulsions will be there. So all these values will be positive only. Okay? But the first electron affinity values are negative, right? But regarding this one, you remember one point in the case of noble gases. What about first electron affinity value of noble gas? So all the elements okay, we can add the electron. But what about noble gases? Noble gases are having the stable octet configuration, right? We all know about that. Okay, so when electron is added to the octet configuration, now they will lose their stability. As we all know in chemistry, no element wants to lose the stability, right? So the noble gases will be not willing to gain the electron. So that is why for noble gases, these are the elements in which the first electron affinity values are also positive. Okay, for all the other elements, the electron affinity, first electron affinity values are negative only. But coming to the noble gases, electron affinity value, first electron affinity value is also positive. Because we know the reason, because the noble gases have stable octet configuration, right? So after gaining one electron, they will lose their octet configuration. So they are not willing to do that. So that's why they don't want to gain the electron. See, still if we want to add the electron, so we need to supply energy to overcome the repulsion. Okay? Right? That is about electron affinity. Then in the next class we will discuss about how the electron affinity changes along the groups and periods, as well as which elements will have highest or which will have lowest. Everything we will discuss in next class. Thank you.